Alright guys, Gemini back with another video, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I'm sure you guys, first off, we're going to pack a little Grizzly Dark before I get started here. Okay, so anyways, I'm sure you guys heard about the deal with Chris Jericho and Brock Lesnar. Apparently that there was some kind of confrontation backstage at SummerSlam. Jericho took exceptions to the way Lesnar treated Orton at the end of the match. Apparently it was a work. Jericho didn't know it was a work. Jericho got pissed, and there's been some backstage heat, and that was a good altercation. But it's not the first time that wrestlers have butted heads backstage. I mean, you had Batista and Booker T at SummerSlam 2005. I mean, there's been a lot of confrontation backstage between guys. Guys just get heated with each other. I mean, the Arn Anderson and Sid Vicious scissor fight in Germany, I believe it was in Germany, in 1993 in WCW, where I believe Sid wound up stabbing Arn Anderson just a bunch of times, and it was just a really ugly situation that I don't think Ric Flair ever forgave Sid for. And I think that's one of the reasons why Sid's not in the Hall of Fame today, is because of that scissor incident. But probably the most infamous, I don't know, I guess you'd say, tussle backstage happened in about 1988 between Jacques Rougeau of the fabulous Rougeau brothers, and he later portrayed this character in the WWF, the Mountie, and Thomas Billington, who was the Dynamite Kid in the WWF, 84 through 88. Everybody knows about the Dynamite Kid. He's a legend and a pioneer in the industry, and people are always going to link him as the guy who motivated Chris Benoit. The Dynamite Kid today is in a wheelchair in a convalescent home in England. He's not well. Steroids blew his body up, and he's not well. But anyway, so yeah, back in the day, this is because from time to time I like to listen to wrestling shoots, and this is a good one. I've heard Jacques' brother Ramon do this. I've heard Jacques, on about 3 or 4 different times do the shoot on this. But so here's the story. The British Bulldogs are notorious pranksters. Like, really, they pull in some really, really bad ribs backstage. Whether it was going backstage and going through Jacques' bag and cutting all his clothes up with a pair of scissors, or whether it was shitting, physically taking a shit in Jacques' bags. It was pretty serious. They were shitting him and the Bulldog, the British Bulldog, they were shitting in, Jacques' bags, right? And they were cutting up his clothes. And then so you had Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig in the WWF at the time, and this is from Ramon. Mr. Perfect was stirring it up. He was on one side, he was telling Jacques what was happening, who was cutting his clothes up and stuff. So Jacques getting like really, really pissed at who's cutting his clothes up. And then on the other side you have Dynamite, and Mr. Perfect is telling Dynamite Kid, hey, Jacques is going to do something to you for cutting his clothes up. So you have Mr. Perfect, who doesn't know any better. He's young, and he's stirring up both sides of the pot. And, there's some serious tension there. And so, Mr. Perfect says to the Dynamite, he says, hey, I'm gonna tell the office. Mr. Perfect, it's hard to explain. Mr. Perfect says to Dynamite that Jacques is going to tell the office on you. So the Dynamite is super, super pissed at Jacques. So Jacques Rougeau was playing cards, I think it was in Miami or something. Jacques Rougeau was playing cards with, I can't remember who they said he was playing cards with, but anyways, he's sitting there, and Dynamite Kid comes up behind Jacques and just, boom, cold cocks him from behind while he's playing cards. Total chicken shit, cheap shot, knocks Jacques down. Ramon, Jacques' brother, is on crutches at the time, and he punches Ramon in the neck. Basically, the Dynamite Kid and his entourage, the Ultimate Warrior, the British Bulldog, Bret Hart, Bad News Brown, Dino Bravo, they're all there together, protecting Dynamite. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, they're all there in one clique, and they're all protecting Dynamite. And so the Rougeaus are humiliated, and now they're pissed. Coming from a third generation wrestling family, the Rougeaus are really pissed, and they know that they're going to get their fucking revenge on the Dynamite Kid. They just don't know when, or as Ramon calls it, the receipt, because the Dynamite Kid was going to get a receipt, and he did big time, because a couple weeks later, Ramon's hurt. There's nothing much he could do, and this whole time, all these weeks, Jacques is festering and festering and festering. Ramon is teaching him how to box because their dad was a boxer in Montreal, and they're prepping for their receipt on the British Bulldog, and they're getting ready, And finally, the night comes. They're going to go to TV the next day, and they're going to wait for the Bulldog to get alone and not with his entourage. So anyways, the time comes, and Ramon says to Jacques, he says, hey, put a roll of quarter in your hands. When you punch him, if you put a roll of quarter in your hands, you're really going to hurt him bad. So anyways, the time comes. They're over by the cafeteria, backstage at TV, right? And then finally, Ramon is holding Pat Patterson back because he knows Pat Patterson knows. He knows Vince knows. And, Ramon and Jacques, they know that if Pat Patterson and Vince know, they're going to break this up. So anyways, it comes down to it. Ramon pushes Ramon. He pushes Pat Patterson against the wall and physically holds him. And all of a sudden, you see Jacques. He sees the Dynamite walking by. So Jacques has a roll of quarters in his hands, and he sees the Dynamite, and he goes, boom, with the roll of quarters in his hands, punches Dynamite right in the face, knocks his front four teeth completely to the ground, blood everywhere. Dynamite Kid is just staggered, just bloody mess. And finally, a scrum comes and a bunch of wrestlers come to break it up. You want to talk about as real as it got? That was as real as it got. And that was the end of it. The Bulldogs were later released at right around Survivor Series 88. But, there's something about that shoot that really captivated me and caught my attention. Wow. I mean, you would be so pissed at someone, so mad at someone that literally you would go to the bank, get a $10 roll of quarters, ball it up in your hand, and you would punch them directly in the mouth just to bust up all their teeth and make them a bloody mess. I mean, fuck, dude. I mean, the Rougeaus were men, and the Bulldogs were bullies, as much as I love them, and I'm a huge British Bulldog fan. But they were bullies, and they obviously bullied the wrong men. So you guys make sure you leave your comments below on the Rougeau and Dynamite Kid shoot. I'm curious to see what you guys think about this. And I'm Gemini, and thank you, and have a wonderful day.